sequence where they were nearing move 40, some time trouble, just that the sort of exhaustion, the fatigue from defending these tough positions. But she's the one who went for the win.
Vishy Anand, but the margin is very small actually, and it's by 0.3 of a rating. So Praggnanandhaa with a draw, with a win, is looking to extend that lead. And there we have an opening move from Praggnanandhaa, opening up with a d-pawn, and well, look at that. So does Anish Giri.
He, being Praggnanandhaa, took a page out of Wesley So's book, started taking the glasses, folding them, and putting them to the side. So I've seen Wesley do that time and time again. Praggnanandhaa saying, I don't need to see with those. My 2 eyes are enough for me. Yeah, I always wear my glasses because otherwise I'd be a huge blur in front of me. But we do have, wow, knight c3 on the second move. It's a shame that Danya isn't here because he just did a course on this Jabala London, which we may see after Bishop coming out to f4.
Yeah, I'm curious. Bishop f4, maybe he's going to trick Anish. Because if you play c6, which maybe Anish is thinking about having a Slav, then e4 takes it into the realms of a Caro-Kann.
And we were talking about Anish playing these Title Tuesdays and going for his Title Tuesday repertoire. Look at Praggnanandhaa going to his bag of tricks. This is something you see quite commonly at even the highest levels in blitz chess, but not so often in classical chess. So Anish Giri, we see him on camera. It looks like the moves are coming in slightly before the camera feed, but now you see Anish respond with knight f6, and bishop f4 will be Prag's move once he writes down, and there you see it on camera.
Yeah, and it was a Jabala London, and wow, it's a very popular, very trendy opening. You don't really see it played as Super Grandmaster classical events. I wonder how Anish is going to react.
I would say I think we can quite easily understand and explain why we don't see this. You usually want to fight for the center, so a pawn on c4, it's a pawn and a knight looking at the d5 square. Here, Black's center is completely protected thanks to the pawn on d5, the knight, the queen all defended, so it's not going to be vulnerable. So, Ivanka, these sort of offbeat lines, Jabala London, not striking center with your pawns, do you like them yourself, or have you always been skeptical?
I must admit, I like
King on h7 does feel less safe than the white king on g1.
It does feel less safe, and also white has control of the only open line on the board. You know, the next move is going to be queen c1, rook c6, and the queen will step up to c2, and questions will be asked of the knight on g6. And let's not also forget that the rook can go to c7 and go pawn hunting.
His rook could also go to c8 and try to go for some kind of checkmates on the last rank. I feel like white has so many more options. And if that's the case, at some point I could see Anish trying to lash out with a move like d4, trying to create some counterplay and some control.
Yeah, no, I completely see that as a possibility. Yeah, d4, I was thinking that, and after pawn takes to go e4. And again, just to use the e-pawn to open up lines, swing. Okay. For a second I got excited, I was like, did that happen?
No, I'm making moves.
Swing over to g5 with a potential knight f4, knight h4. Okay, obviously, it has to be well timed.
Well, I think that in a position like this, not having that much time would hurt Prag. So d4, pawn takes d4. I was wondering, can I even just take back with the pawn on d4? Because your knight is overloaded protecting the a5 pawn, so you can't just scoop up d4. I would trade queens on d4 if you take them that way. That's not the end of the story. There still will be some plans. Oh, I blundered apparently. What did I blunder? This must be some winning tactic.
Rook d5. Rook d5, and then it's back rank mate.
It's that simple. I admit it, didn't see it, but it's good to point out that the queen covers h2, so that's a checkmate down here. But what I was going to say was, if we can humor me for a second, that in positions like this, even though the eval bar says, oh, it's just equal, with extra pawns on different sides of the board, black with 2 pawns here, white with an extra pawn on the f-file, a rook coming to 7th rank, both sides would actually have chances to even win a position like this, despite the level material. So that's what I was trying to get at, but I blundered a back rank checkmate. That's okay. As the commentator, it's not my game. I don't lose if there's a checkmate on the board. I can just explain.
Yeah, totally. Totally agree with that. And my point was going to be about like d4 being well timed. Like for instance, it might be a good idea to initiate this counterplay once the white rook has made its excursions along the c line. So if it finds itself on c8, then I can imagine that d4 would come with a lot more power, because the black pawn just simply can't be corralled like it would do if the rook was on c2. But then it begs the question is that Anish needs to find a good waiting yet productive move. And well, we are not going to wait for long, because rook to b8. Oh, is that a silent draw offer saying if you put your knight back on c5, I will be putting my rook back on b5?